Day 2 at DSEI 2019. Today we're focusing on naval platforms, but first let's get aboard HMS Argyle as we're focusing on the upgrade program of the Type 23 class frigate of the Royal Navy, specifically its new surface-to-air missile by MBDA, the Ceptor.
Ceptor, so HMS Argyle was the first fitted Type 23 with Ceptor. We were the first of class ship and also the first to deploy operationally with the system and then bring it back again as well. So a lot of the experience that goes forward into the programme comes from this ship as we took it away. I think the first thing to say is that the Ceptor system offers a huge leap forward in our capability, really. So we've turned the Type 23 from a point defence platform, really able to protect ourselves and get in the way of threats between us and the high value units, into actually a really useful local area defence asset to the task force. So the way that the commander of the task force is able to utilise us now has grown massively on the back of Ceptor. So the Royal Navy has so far conducted 5 in-service firings, of which HMS Argyle was the first, up towards the northeast of Scotland. All have been successful. So currently we're used as local area air defence asset. I'm aware that there is the capacity for surface-to-surface engagements, and I believe that the Navy is investigating that at the minute. No, absolutely. So every Type 23 will be fitted with Ceptor, and I think we'll learn a lot of lessons to take forward into Type 26 with that as they move forward. Obviously, just a missile system on its own wouldn't be much good without updated technology across the ship, and that's exactly what we've done. So we've got a fantastic new Artisan 3D radar in 997. We're just about to upgrade our navigational radars as well. The command system is a completely new set to things people might have experienced before, which really leans on the use of shared infrastructure and open architectures to make it a very much more dynamic system that we can change as we like to, as we learn more lessons now. Moving forward on the Type 23s, the next thing to address is the ship's gyros. So the ship's gyro compasses will be upgraded over the next year or so, with a complete new data distribution system throughout as well. So really exciting times for Type 23.
Well, obviously the Type 26 programme is the parent programme for the Global Combat Ship range, and it's been a really exciting 2 years for a Global Combat Ship. We cut steel on the first Type 26 HMS Glasgow 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago, and last month we started the production of the second ship, HMS Cardiff, in Glasgow. So the Type 26 programme is progressing at pace now. The first ship is making good progress in assembly. We've got about half of the ship assembled in our assembly halls in Glasgow and starting to fit out the first ship as well now. And with HMS Cardiff, the second of class, now starting, we'll soon see steel units for Cardiff coming together as well. So HMS Glasgow will launch, go into the water in the early 2020s and then complete a few years completing outfit and commissioning before it gets handed over to the Royal Navy in the sort of mid-2020s. So here we have the 2 other global combat ships contracts that we've won over the last 18 months. First one in front of me is the Hunter class global combat ship for Australia, and this is the Canadian surface combatant. So both variants of the Type 26 global combat ship, predominantly the same platform, the same hull, and changes to accommodate each individual customer's requirements for the combat systems. When the Type 26 design was developed originally, it was always intended to be an adaptable design to be able to take different combat systems to suit different customers, and that's exactly what we're doing with these 2 programs. They've both been mobilising over the last 12 months, and I'm heavily involved in the Hunter class for Australia. We currently have well over 400 people working on the program now between the UK and Australia, and heavily into the design work to accommodate the new radar, the different missile silos, the changes to the aviation requirements for the Australian helicopter. So a great working relationship with our colleagues between the UK and Australia, and with the Australian government and Australian Navy.
The proposal that we have presented for the fleet solid support ship for the UK Navy, it's a proposal that combines some strong points. One of them, the first one, is the design that fulfills all the capabilities that the UK Navy needs for this ship. And we have joined our efforts to BMT, that is a very well-known engineering that have a vast experience in the design of the logistic ships for the UK Navy. Navantia also have a very good experience in the logistics for Spanish Navy and also for Australia. Another important point is that we can offer the delivery time that fulfills the requirements that the UK Navy needs. We have involved to the supply chains of UK industries, and up to now we have up to 400 million pounds of equipment, engineering and materials that are considered in these ships. We have here the logistic ship. You know that recently we have the milestone of the launching of the second unit that we are building for the Australian Navy. And this is also a reference for this program for the UK Navy, the FSS. We also are presenting the F-110 that, as you know, we have signed the contract with the Spanish Navy for building 5 units. We have already started the engineering process, and this frigate is very strategic for the company because it will be the starting point for the digital transformation of the company. We will have new technologies involved in the design of this frigate. It will have a digital twin, cyber security, and all a very important multi-mission bay in order to have the unmanned vehicles, and we are already working on that. This will be the most important product of the company for the next years.
So this is our new portfolio design that we've unveiled here at DSEI. It's our ELLIDA logistics support ship, which is the third naval auxiliary platform we've released over the last few years. So it's sitting alongside our gear replenishment ship and our Salvus utility auxiliary. So what we've done is this is a logistics platform that's focused on delivering volume, whether that's vehicles or stores, or perhaps other multi-role capabilities such as medical type capabilities. And what we've spent the year doing is looking at how we develop a multi-role design, but a design that is credible in terms of its operation. So it's not just a designer's view of a multi-role ship, it's a multi-role ship that actually can operate in the real world with a real navy. So ultimately the ELLIDA family will have a range of designs, but here today we're showcasing our larger variants. So this is a 200 metre variant. It can carry somewhere in the region of 1,000 limbs of wheeled vehicles. It can host a NATO Role 2 medical facility. It can carry a large number of containers, stores. It has accommodation for up to 350 embarked forces and troops. And it also has the capability to replenish solids to other ships. So, like with a lot of our designs, what we're trying to do is produce something that is attractive and opens up a conversation with as many people as possible. We're certainly aware that logistic ships is an area where there is always interest and growing interest, particularly in the Asian market, but also in Europe as well. So what we're hoping is this will open up conversations with a variety of navies that have this sort of requirement out there.
We're showing the TX ship, so it's a collaboration between us and Thales. Thales came to us with a market-led requirement of looking at the requirement to change a lot of MCMVs, but also to move towards a more autonomous vessel capable of multi-role operations, including things like ASW, mine warfare, fleet protection, and special forces capability. I think the whole idea behind it was led by Thales, which is to move from basically a lean manned ship, so very small number of crew, around 15, right up to autonomy. Really helping with the kind of the trust that navies have or don't have in the moment in a completely unmanned ship. And so the ability to move from that manned vessel, they can start to prove to them as to how it may look after itself, but also its capabilities and performance, the ability of the sensors to actually do what they want them to do. And then as they gain that confidence, they will then move into a fully autonomous vessel. So we gave Thales an very early concept design, a very kind of rough design to look at, including all the kind of marine engineering, stability, structures and things like that. But then we went on to design more in very close collaboration with Thales, having regular design reviews and talking through what it could and couldn't do from an engineering perspective. So yeah, we did a lot of kind of platform engineering for it.
Thales came up with a new idea, a new concept of a new platform that could be used as a multi-role capability. We looked at the idea of harmonising that with digital and how we could utilise that platform in the future in transitioning. So we call it transition ship or TX ship, transitioning from a lean manned platform all the way through to unmanned and in fact autonomous. This is an ecosystem approach to providing the capability. So we're looking at modular packaging, and modular packaging can be provided by either ourselves, which we have obviously capabilities in sensors and combat management systems, etc. But we're also looking at other countries and the way that they could employ it in a modular form, so we can utilise their best of breed, their best athletes to provide the sensors on board in alignment with their mission profiles.